Hello there, Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for supporting. You mean so much to me. Welcome to the very first episode of Completely Clueless. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to be making a mod right in front of you. So I did a poll on the 9th, so maybe 4 days ago, and I asked dogs, mice, or squirrels, and squirrels won by a long shot. So we're going to do squirrels. So I'm going to show you exactly how I make, how I would go about making this kind of mod. So this right here is the secret ingredient. This tool, it's called Switch Toolbox, and it is absolutely fantastic. It is the thing that has enabled me to make this channel and make all the mods that I make. So this is a ROM-FS of the game. That's the game's file system, or the ROM's file system. So the tool that I use to dump my ROM-FS is called NX Dump Tool, and naturally you need a modded switch to be able to do that. But it splits the model folder into 3 folders. And I don't have a reason for why it does this. In the games files, there is only one model folder, but it's really big and it's just called model, and it split it into 3 parts, I guess just because it was so big. You're gonna go into model 1 because they happen to be near the end of the alphabet. So there are thousands and thousands and thousands of files in all 3 of these model folders. So what we're looking for right now, because you want to edit some NPC characters, you're going to look for NPC NML. And NPC normal, as opposed to NPC special, people like Isabelle or Tom Nook, those would all be special characters, which would be NPC SP. We're looking for NPC NML. And SQR is squirrel, I believe. So I'm going to go dig down there. I'm just going to go pick squirrel 1. Let's just open that up and take a look at it. And you can preview the model by double clicking on the BF-res. And you can drop that down so you can see the models and textures. And this has a very, very simple, I wouldn't say rudimentary, but it is a very simple sort of interface for viewing 3D models. I don't know which character this is. What is her name? All right, so this is Peanut, confirmed. Okay, got it. Yeah, so we can see the model here, and you can, of course, take a look at the models and textures. We're not gonna do this right now. I was just giving an example of the kind of characters that we're looking for, because these aren't actually the models that we need to edit. It is important to know the naming scheme that they use in the internals of the game. NPC, non-playable character, normal, NML, so normal, and SQU, which is the code name for squirrel, or the internal name for squirrel. And this is squirrel 00, which happens to be Peanut. A tool that I would definitely recommend for digging through this comically large amount of files is a tool called Search Everything. So I typed in NPC SQU, and it's just searching my entire computer. And then we finally got over here. This is the gold mine that we're looking for right here. NPC NML tops SQU. So we're going to copy all these files. We're going to close all this stuff out and put it on the dang desktop. All right, so this is a very, very simple procedure, but it gets more complicated as things go on. So I've got all the files right here, right? These are all pretty tiny files. It's because they don't actually contain any texture data. It's only a model and skeletal data. I'm gonna go ahead and open back up Switch Toolbox. And Switch Toolbox is cool because you can just drag and drop stuff onto it, but you don't wanna drag and drop multiple things onto it at once. And the reason why you don't wanna do that is because it treats one project like it's one ZS file, right? So these archives, it'll try to combine them all together into one ZS file, which won't work. It'll be very, very convoluted if you do that. So let's just do them one at a time. This is one piece H, so, and then take a look at the model. So this right here is the model data. And this is a filler texture that's used to show UV mapping. This is the UV test actually, no, this isn't the UV test texture. Let me pick that one. This is the UV test pattern. But the placeholder texture that they use in Animal Crossing looks like this, and it looks very cool. I like the way it looks. But as you can see, this is a model that the game maps textures onto, because the textures aren't in here, they're in a different location. All right, so this is a very, very easy mod to do, but this is only the first half of it. This is the easy peasy part. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna open the models, and then you're gonna freaking delete the model. You're just gonna delete it, and then you hit save. Amazing, incredible. And the reason why we're doing this is because the texture doesn't have anywhere to map. If you were to replace the texture with transparency, that's not quite how the game works, because opacity doesn't really work that way. This game is very specific about opacity. If you were to just make the texture transparent, then it would be black. because of the way that normal maps work. It just wouldn't work. But because we're retaining the material and skeleton data, the game just thinks it's okay and that there's nothing wrong, which of course there isn't as far as we want the game to know. So we're going to save. I already saved it, so I'm going to go ahead and close that out. And then I'm going to repeat this process. This will be sped up because this is going to be boring as heck. Just, open up the model, open up the objects, and then delete. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to mention, don't delete the root model. If you delete the root model, the skeleton data and the material data goes with it, and that's a problem because then the game will crash. So what you want to do is only delete the object. You have to drop down the object box, because I made the mistake of deleting this, and that just deletes everything. That deletes the entire tree of files, so you don't want to do that. Another thing I wanted to point out, you can see a dramatic file size difference. These are the ones with only the skeleton and material data, and these are the ones with skeleton data, material data, and the model. I mean, naturally, because we deleted something, they're getting smaller. Isn't that a surprise? Alrighty, now we're all done. Switch toolbox can go away now because you got all the squirrels without clothes model data. So this is all cleared model data, only materials, only skeletons. So we're going to keep all this. And then we're going to move on to step 2, which is going to be editing the BCSV. So let's go ahead and throw this into the game now that we've removed all the model data, and I'll illustrate why this is only step 1 to a more complicated process, because theoretically this works, it does function, but not in the way that we want it to. We have to account for another thing, another little weird quirk about how the game engine works. I'm using a sys module called sysftpd Lite. Very, very convenient. I don't have to take out my SD card. I don't have to open an FTP app. It's just always running all the time, which is super convenient for copying files back and forth. So the first thing that you got to do is dump the save. Very, very easy to do. You just got to get JKSV and then click the dump button and make a name for it. I have a bunch of stupid names in here, so don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Come on now. Don't worry about it. So let's just do squirrel. Copying all the files, and now we can close it. We can open up FileZilla. Copy the dang files over. Here's our squirrel folder. It is right here. So I'm going to go ahead and open up NHSC. And NHSC is a very valuable tool. It's a save editor, a very comprehensive save editor, mind you, for New Horizons. And I've been using it for quite some time. It's very, very convenient. And it's exceptionally convenient for importing villagers. People in the comments are like, how do you get so many villagers? How do you do that? What people think that you're supposed to do is you just go over to the villagers tab and then you're going to turn this. And you're not going to do that. And the reason why you're not going to do that is because you're only changing the variant and the species when you do that. Their clothing stays the same, their house stays the same. There's a drop down here, but it's non-functional. This thing doesn't work, it won't save anything. If you want to do that, you'll have to change it manually in the BCSV files. What you're gonna do is there's a full pack of like perfect dumps. I think it's called like perfect villager dump files. Actually, I need to look up their names. So the cool thing is this actually does display names. So I'm gonna go and find, okay, there's squirrels. That was quick. So squirrel is species 32. So you see SQU00. And let's see, how many of them are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh my God, there's 18 of them. This is gonna be more annoying than I thought. So what I usually like to do, if there's like a lot of villagers, is I'll do 2 separate saves. One with the first half, one with the second half, and then whenever I get through with recording a lot of the first set of villagers, then I'll move on to the next one. Actually, I'll do exactly the first 10. All right, Peanut, open. Yep, that's fine. And then you're gonna load their house too, so that I have a matching house. Peanut, NHVH, and there you go. See, all the assets changed to be her house. So now I'm gonna go boop, and then 32, and then 1. So that's gonna be Blair. Blair. I don't remember a lot of these. Blair. Boop. And then load the house. I'm just gonna fast forward this because it is, wow. Wow, it's dry. Here's the roster for save number 1. We got Peanut, Blair, Filbert, Pecan, Nibbles, Agent S, Carolyn, Sally, or Caroline, Sally, Static, and Mint. So those are the ones that we've got going on. And you can also edit your map in here, which I tend to do. Depending on what I'm doing, this map will actually be fine. I don't really need to mess with it. It's already really good. I need to clean up weeds. That's something I should do. So remove items, weeds. Nope. And weeds are gone. Removed 600 weeds. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and save. Haven't saved yet, surprisingly. And bop. Oh, I gotta change the name. Acorn Town. I'll rename it to Squirrel 2 so that I have a thing to go back to. Crazy that y'all don't back up your saves. It's just insane to me. So that's copying. Let's just let that do its thing. Excellent. It's donezo. And then we can go over to JKSV to load the save. So right now, I am writing the save that I just edited back to the Switch. So let's restore that. Boom. So now we can boot up the game, which has the edited squirrel models so that the clothes don't appear, but we haven't done the BCSV editing to make it not do the upper arm compression that the game engine tries to do. Right now in Acorn Town, it's whatever. All right, yep, Yes, baby, I understand. I know you love to watch TV. I hear about it every time. You may notice that Agent S is wearing clothes. Well, Agent S is actually, Agent S and Kid Cat are both in the same category of that their clothes are skin. They don't wear clothes. That's just what their body is textured as, is to be that. Oh, this is a great example of what I'm talking about. So this is a thing that the game engine does. So he's supposed to be wearing a long sleeve shirt right now, right? But it's compressing his upper arms because it doesn't want his arms to poke through the shirt that he's wearing. Because by all means, the game thinks that he's still wearing a shirt. Why wouldn't it? We're going to give him a little bit of a chat. Oh, okay, that's Sally. I thought that was a boy. My bad. All these characters are so androgynous, it's hard to tell sometimes. And we don't need to edit the save. The save is done. So we're going to do the BCSV edits. And we're going to go back to the desktop. So there is a tool that you can get on Game Banana called BCSV Editor. And they do consistent updates. But I haven't actually taken the time to try and use it. Every time that I tried to use it, no matter what changes I made, even if I opened the file and then immediately closed it, it would crash the game. And they've updated a lot of times since then, so maybe it works better. You know what? I'm gonna give it a try. Let's try it. I then spent 8 full minutes making all the changes that I needed to make to the BCSV through the editor, assuming that all the updates that had happened since I last used it would fix my problem, only to learn that they did not, and then this happened. Okay, looks like everybody disappeared. That is exactly what I expected to happen. This is why you don't use the BCSV editor. You gotta do it manually. Because if you don't, then your game's gonna crash. Exactly like this, right now. Case in point. All right, so we're gonna start over here. We're gonna completely start over. Get rid of the BCSV editor because it don't work. Oh, is it open still? Yes, it is. Get out of here. Get it out of here. Delete it. And then we're going to go ahead and open up HXD, which is a hex editor, freeware hex editor. You can get it NML NPC param. So you're going to take this little file right here, the original, paste it on your dang desktop, open it up. This is the normal villager parameters, which has all kinds of different data in it. But what does any of this mean? What is all this garbage? This is just numbers. What is all this? I am but a poor boy that does not understand how to read robot language. Fear not, because there is a website that is very, very convenient. This right here is wufs.org/ACNH/BCSV120. And you can go to HTML. You can take a look at all of these files. This is all of the BCSV data, data mined, translated from hex into decimal, and there's a lot of different variable names, which makes it very easy to understand. Like, see, this would normally be 0010111000100, right? So right now, the thing that we're looking for is tops. I'm gonna copy the data that I need, and I'm gonna paste it into a notepad document. So let me just go ahead and do that right here. So we're looking for tops, and we're gonna go down to squirrels. SQU, see, there's all the SQUs. So we're gonna do villager ID, top, and top hex. And you'll see why we're going to do that later. So let me just go ahead and do SQU01, SQU02, SQU03. Something that you need to keep in mind whenever you're doing this, you can't just count straight up because some villagers are missing. So you got right here, right, you got 9, 10, 11, 13. Whoa, something's wrong there. So yeah, you got to make sure you keep a close eye and make sure you don't accidentally try to change something for a villager that doesn't exist. So top, I'm just gonna go copy paste all these. All right, so I've gotten all the top numbers. Now I just need to convert them into hex so that we can have the top hex, because right now these are decimal and I need them to be in hex.
And you'll see why in a second.
Okay. And boop, boop. 1E68. And by the way, you do need the zeros in front, even if it's just A90. It has to be 2 bytes. All right, cool. So all of the decimals I've converted back into hex. And the reason why I did that is because there's this document here by Clueless. He's a very, very, very talented Animal Crossing reverse engineer. Anyway, so these hex numbers right here, these are the default clothings on the far right. These hexadecimal numbers are the default clothing of each of these villagers respectively. So we can copy the hexadecimal, paste it into find, and then boom, striped maxi dress. What about this one? What's this code? What's this one? Boop. Okay, that one's a layered tank dress, berry red. Okay, how about 2002? What's that? Boom. All right, that's a tree sweater and beige, right? So these all mean something. So now with this information in hand, we're gonna go over back to HXD with the NML NPC param document in it. So I'm gonna go down to until I see SQU. SQU00, cool. So that's our squirrels. That's exactly where we need to be. So here's the trick, right? You're gonna take this item ID and you're going to byte swap it. So that means 1E and 68 are 2 bytes, and you're going to flip them. So it's gonna be 68 1E instead of 1E68. It's gonna be 68 1E. So now, right now we're looking for 68 1E in this string of information about Squirrel 0. You can also use the find feature, but it's not always the most helpful because sometimes those 2 bytes is such a small amount of information that it could be present in a lot of different places in that file. So let's go ahead and do that because I'm having trouble with brain today. So let's go ahead and do 681E. Boom. Can't find it. So we got to go back up. Oh, oops, I did text string instead of hex values. Oopsie. Evan did a stupid. Boom. All right, so yep, there it is. So 681E, which is usually right above the ML in NPC ML cloth, right? So we're gonna take note of basketball tank is 0A, A7, or A7, 0A. So we're gonna take that byte swapped code right there, take that little hex ID, and we're gonna just go slap it over there. So now what we can do is, as a little hack, you can find cloth squoo, and then you can go above the ML and check your work. You gotta be like, OA90, okay, 900A. And then you can go like, so you can go to the ML of Squirrel 1, and then you can check, yep, 0220, yep, that matches, 2002. And then you can go like, great. So I'm gonna do this for the rest of them. And I'll fast forward it because it's not the most interesting thing in the world. All right, so I'm gonna scroll back up here. So I replaced all of the instances of these tops in hexadecimal, which by the way are always above ML in SPC NML cloth, right? So you're gonna do that. And you're going to go through each byte. You can see which ones I've changed because they're all red, and I changed them all to be the basketball tank. Because these villagers are brand new in the game's engine, they're going to be wearing their default clothing, which is set in this file. So we're going to go ahead and save. Bam! Now that is saved, so we can go ahead and I'm going to minimize it. I don't need to close it. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that to the game. Done. That's donezo. So now we can switch back to the swatch. By all means, this mod should be complete unless I want to do the text edit that replaces... Oh, you know what? I bet that's already in there. So I bet that if they talk about their clothes, they will refer to it as a birthday suit. See, look at her arms. They are, yeah, there's no clipping error like there was before. So that totally worked. I didn't expect that it wouldn't work. All right, great. So yeah, squirrels without clothes. There you go. All right, cool. Let's just close the game. And I'm going to go ahead and pack up all those files, and then we can put it on Patreon. So the problem with editing message files is that everything is all in one pack, which means that you can't just change one thing, which is a problem because it means that it won't work in 1.3.0, which is going to be an issue. So I'm going to have to I guess I'll just make this 1.2.0 only, and then make a 1.3.0 version, which will just not have the strings in it, I guess. All right, so v1.2.0. And then just get rid of the message folder. Yep. No strings for 1.3. I can't be bothered to support my mods for 1.3 because they patched the camera glitch, and that's important. I really like the camera glitch. So I'm staying on 1.2, and that's where I'm gonna stay. Now I just gotta record the video and do all the funnies, capture a bunch of footage, edit it all together. But yeah, that's how you do it. That's from beginning to end how you make a without clothes mod in New Horizons. Eventually I'm gonna do everyone, but you saw how comprehensive just one species was. There was a lot of fast forwarding and such, so yeah, you know. Anyway, thanks again for subscribing. Thanks again for watching. Means a lot. Hopefully I'll be having some more of these down the pipeline. Thank you so much. Hope you can make some cool stuff with this information. Love you. Appreciate you.